What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Bitcoin today. Hit that like button, you guys. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. Okay, here it is. Bitcoin at about 83K right now on this, the 4th of April. Yes, it is the 4th. We have 21 hours, 31 minutes left in the day. It's a brand new day, today/tomorrow if you're in the United States or anywhere in the Western Hemisphere. Today for Bitcoin, though, we're in Bitcoin time whenever we talk about the charts, man. April 4th, we are going to have jobs data. The jobs report is coming out, and Powell's going to talk about that. I'm assuming it's going to be negatively received or even neutrally received. In times like this with the tariffs and everything and people are uncertain, a neutral or a negative stance will likely give us a reason to move down, even if we have positive data on the jobs report, which is fine. I still think that we're moving down, but perhaps yesterday, the 3rd, was a neutral day in essence of this, right? We're just waiting for Powell to talk and open his mouth, and that will likely help trigger some selling. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but that's just my expectation. On the on the 10th, we have CPI data, PPI data, right? Consumer Price Index stuff, just talking about inflation. I expect that data to be good. So negative data tomorrow, positive data on the 10th. I think that we will find our low between the 4th and the 10th. Personally, I don't think it'll be on the 4th. I don't think it'll be on the 10th. I think it'll be somewhere in between there. Our low will likely be, if we look at this low to high here, somewhere around 73.7K to $70,000 between the 1272 and the 1618. 10th of April, we have CPI, PPI data coming out. On the 15th of April, it's tax day. We're going to have tax returns. Retail investors will have a little bit extra cash, and that oftentimes does encourage spending. And I do want to go over what April 15th looks like, if I remember, in bull markets, specifically April 15th and onward, see what that looks like for the rest of April, okay? Also on April 15th, what is it that we have? What else do we got here? Hold on. April 15th, we also have U.S. retail sales, which reflects consumer spending trends, stuff like that, which, that might be important, it might not be, but also, I believe, what is it, March 6th? No, not March 6th, I'm sorry, May 6th, May 7th, we have the next FOMC meeting, and if inflation rates seem to be low, if the market's hurting a little bit in the right ways, not the wrong ways, it could be the right kind of circumstances for the right environment for the Fed to bring rates down, interest rates down. And a lot of people have been kind of moaning and groaning about this. That sounded kind of funny. They've been griping and moaning about this, the interest rates not coming down over the past couple of FOMC meetings. But the thing is, if you guys remember, whenever we talked about the interest rates coming down, Federal Reserve interest rates coming down months ago for the first time, we said that it would be better if it happened slowly, not happening fast, and it is happening very slowly. So I think that the fact that we've waited we've put the interest rates coming down on pause over the last couple FOMC meetings. I think it's actually a good thing, and I think if the data is right, and I think it will be right, we will see interest rates coming down early May, and I believe that oftentimes whenever an FOMC meeting is perceived to be bullish or dovish, whatever you want to say, we oftentimes price that in a little bit beforehand. So I think that if it's the beginning of May, that we have this positive outlook on the markets, or positive outlook on I should say, the Federal Reserve interest rate coming down, that will have a positive outlook for the markets beforehand. So I think the end of April, mid-April, end of April, going into May, we're going to have some upside. April 4th, today, we have jobs data coming out, and it'll probably be negatively received. April 10th, we have CPI data. It's probably going to be positively received. So I think we're going to transition between now and the 10th. But until that transition, we're going to keep going lower, and that low is going to be $73,000 to $70,000. And then May, we've got the interest rates coming down. I think things will start to look better. Trump might refinance the U.S. debt if interest rates come down. If they don't go down enough, maybe he won't. It depends. But there's a whole lot of potential setups in May that could really help boost the markets, I think. And going from basically the end of April into May and June, I think we're going to see a good time. But for now, over the days to come, we still have a little bit more to go. I do want to go through and look at April 15th real quick, just to see, because that's kind of a interesting day, right? That's normally tax day, is April 15th, right? Let me ask Rock here. When is tax day? Let me ask, is tax day April 15th every year? Because I feel like it is, but maybe not. Tax day is typically, yeah. But it's not fixed to that exact date every year. The deadline for filing individual federal income tax return is set by the IRS, and it's generally April 15th unless the date falls on a weekend or a legal holiday. Right. Yes. Okay, so generally April 15th. We'll put it at April 15th, whatever, and that makes sense, of course. They don't want to do work on the weekends, man. Nobody does, but the working class does. Anyways, let's see here. We'll go all the way. We'll just go all the way back. Yeah, let's put some cyclical lines on here. We don't need to go way back, but maybe, yeah, sure, maybe around here. So if we notice April 15th here, come on, oh, dude, I don't even care. I'm gonna readjust that here soon. April 15th there, April 15th over here. Where are we at? That's the 17th, 15th. Okay, and then let me get it back on. Hold on, y'all. April, come on now, give it to me. 1, 2. Nope, that was not right. Come on. Why can't I get it? There we go. April 15th to April 15th. So from April 15th and on, we actually did move up. Inevitably moving down, we had a bit of a double bottom here. But yes, you did move up for the months to come up until July. So that's kind of nice to see. We found we moved up a little bit and then found a lower low. And then going into the end of April, going into May, we started to move up more. April 15th here started to move up. Yes. April 15th here started to move up in the bull market. Oh, I guess to be completely fair, this wasn't actually in the bull market, so maybe that one doesn't deserve to be counted. This one was bullish. This one was bullish. Both of those were in the bull market here. April 15th here in the bull market. Went up a little bit afterwards and then crashed a little bit and then up, right? This is probably people putting in their tax returns and then getting shaken out, and then we pump more. April 15th here in the middle of a bull market, we continued to go up. April 15th here, end of the bull market, we went down. April 15th in the bull market here, we actually did go down. We did go down a little bit. April 15th here, boring for a little bit, but then going into May, we started to go up. I don't know. I would say for the most part, it does seem to have a bullish effect, and the last 2 times weren't that bullish, so maybe we're overdue for one. Maybe we are. Anyways, maybe it's not relevant at all, but I think that in culmination and correlation with everything else we've discussed, I think that May, end of April, and going into June it's going to be a very positive time. I very much do expect that Bitcoin itself, being here at about $82.9 thousand right now, will continue to drop. We will see prices below this low. I don't even know why I drew that fib. I'm sorry. We will see prices below this low, and I think that inevitably we're going to go down to prices that are at $73,000 to $71,000, something in there. But on a more broad kind of scope, $74,000 to $70,000. It's not that much more broad, but somewhere in that area. After we find our low, we'll begin to recover, and I do believe that by the end of the month of April, I think that it'll be a rapid recovery. By the end of the month of April, I think we will be at our all-time highs, if not above all-time highs. The call is for 111,000 by the end of April, and I do think that we're going to see a rather rapid recovery when the time comes. We've been moving sideways for a good bit here. And even if we do move down to about 74, 72K, something like this, I would consider this bottom phase as an overall like slanted but sideways kind of motion down. Oftentimes, whenever Bitcoin does find its low, we do move sideways. We move sideways for a good bit, and then we move on up. But I feel like we've already had this sideways range here. We just, you know what I mean? We've already been doing this. It's actually basically the same amount of time, the way that I've drawn it. It would actually be the same amount of time, but just kind of a different format. Instead of continuing to drop lower, instead of finding higher lows, we're continuing to drop lower. Maybe not. Bitcoin finds its low here. We moved up rather immediately, moved sideways for about a week, but then continued to move up. Here we were moving sideways for a little bit, here down and then up, whatever. But most of the time, Bitcoin does like to dilly-dally before it really starts to move on up. I think being that this low here is going to be some kind of overall phase in this same consolidation here. I don't know if after we find this low, if we need to just move sideways for a long time and then finally by May, then we'll start to move up. I don't know if we see that. That's not my expectation. I do anticipate a very fast bounce. This recovery, the reason why it's going to be fast and the reason why it'll carry out further to new all-time highs by the end of April, at least what my expectation is as to why this is because a lot of people right now are assuming that the bear market has begun. And not everybody, but there's a lot of people who are bearish who assume that the bear market's begun. there's a lot of people who are bullish and they're clearly in this like denial phase where they believe that we can't go down. And I think the reason they believe that is because they think if we go down here, we're breaking some kind of significant structure, and that would definitely imply that the bear market's on. But that's not true either. So I think you've got people who already think the bear market's on, and if we go down here, it's going to confirm their bias. So that's going to throw people off, and we're going to have a rapid recovery because of that. And then we have bullish people right now who can't see the downside, and when that comes, that's going to throw them off and make them think that they're wrong and the bear market might be on, and that's going to cause a whiplash as well, a little bit of a snapback effect. But we'll see if that happens. Again, this is all just a theory here, but I do believe, being here at about $83,000, we drop a little bit more. Daily RSI does look pretty bearish, bouncing off the 40, rejecting the 50, not a good look. Lower highs overall in this downtrend in the RSI, probably got a little bit lower to go. We look at the 4-hour time frame here. It's actually not a bad 4-hour, in all honesty. But it's not the best either. I don't know. I don't have a problem with the 4-hour, in all honesty. If you want to prove me wrong, if you want to move up, let's do that real quick. What would that take? High to low here. Because you do, look at that. You got a double top and a double bottom in the same range. Isn't that funny? I guess what you'd have to do to prove me wrong at this point is close above about $86,000. If you can close a day above 86K, one day above 86K, I might start to think, hey man, maybe we have found the low. Maybe we can move up. And if people are hearing that, they're like, I thought it was 88K. Well, it was until we had this move. Now it's 88. Now it's 86K. Okay. And really 88K would be better. I wouldn't just flip bullish if we closed above 86K, but I think 86K would start to make me a little bit bullish. Closing above 88K would be a big deal. And then ultimately, of course, 96.5K is that final gatekeeper to validate this as a low. But until we do at least one of these things, I remain confidently bearish to the downside. Okay. And then afterwards, probably sometime between now and the 10th, whenever CPI data comes out, between now, I don't think that it'll be on the 10th, but between now and the 10th, we will likely find our low and begin running up higher. That's really all I have to say. So hit the like button, subscribe, you guys. Thank you all for being here. I very much do believe that Bitcoin will see prices at new all-time highs by the end of this month. And if we're not at new all-time highs, we're going to be very, very close. Take it easy. Bye-bye. That's all I got.